everyone. Welcome to your practice. You don't need any props for today, but you could use a blanket, you could use blocks if you have them nearby. The idea is that if you only have 10 minutes, you can maximize your time, so don't feel like you need to go searching for props. We're going to get started right away and make your way into a tabletop position to do so. As you find your hands and knees, take an inhale just to find a neutral spine. Okay, so without sinking in the chest or the belly or collapsing through the head, just neutral through your spine. And push the floor away with your next exhalation. See if you can think of lifting simply the area between your shoulder blades. Not the whole spine like cat, but just a protraction of the scapula. And then retract the scapula. So squeeze your shoulder blades together. Breathe in. And exhale to push the floor away, lift the back apart. Okay, one more time, just like that. Okay, find neutral once again in your spine, and now can you circle your shoulders around? So if it's easiest, think of protraction to start. Shrug your shoulders up towards your ears, and then think of circling them back as you retract them. And then you'll retrace that. So protracting, pushing the floor away. Circle your shoulders up towards your ears. Let them loop behind you in space as you retract. One more time. Okay, finding neutral. Now keep the left palm pressing down. Circle the right arm forward along your ear. You reach it behind you and simply tap the fingers down beside your right knee and then retrace that. So right arm comes behind you all the way forward, up, and tap down where your right fingers were under your shoulder. One more time, just like that. A little bit of movement through the right shoulder head. Trying to keep the rest of the body still and in neutral. Land your right palm down. Switch sides. Chest as square as possible to the mat, so without letting the ribs and the hips come into play, just circling the arm behind you. Switch the direction after you've tapped down the outside of your left knee. One more time. As you breathe in now, go ahead, widen your knees, draw the big toes together to touch. Sit your hips back towards your heels. Okay, so pelvis as close to your feet as possible. You keep the left palm grounded in line with the center of the chest. Catch the back of your head with your right hand and inhale to open up your chest. Exhale, think of threading the needle, but you're working with a bent elbow here. And again, twice more like this. So a little bit of isolation now for the ribs. Pelvis staying glued to your feet or as close to your feet as feels accessible for you. And breathing in as you return through center, ground your right palm. Catch the back of your skull with the left hand and then chest open. Inhale. Twist on your exhale. Breathing. And breathing out. Last one. And you return through to center. You can ground your palms, shifting off of your knees. Make your way down onto your forearms to give your wrists a little rest, but also just to isolate more through your pelvis now, so moving a little bit lower down the chain. Again, try not to sink between your shoulder blades or collapse through your head. Just lift the space between your scapula. Okay, hug your right heel towards your seat. And then circle the right knee up high behind you in space. Wide out beside you, and take it as far forward towards your elbows, tap it down, and then switch the direction. And tapping the knee down where it started. One more time, just like that. Trying to keep your head neutral with the rest of your spine, so you're not going to collapse down, nor are you going to jut your chin really far forward. Landing the right knee down, switching sides. So left heel comes towards your seat. I find it helpful to keep the right toes tucked. Sending your left knee back and up to start. Wide out beside you, forward and down. switch the direction. And all the while, of course, remembering to breathe and continuing to press down through your forearms, so doing your best not to collapse through the upper body. Good. As you land your left knee down, go ahead, come back up onto your palms. Take a cow spine once as you inhale. You round through cat as you exhale. Stay neutral as you breathe in. Go ahead, tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back towards downward facing dog. After a moment of walking out your feet, pedaling out the legs, let your fingers crawl back towards your toes. Bending your knees, roll your spine upright. Taking your time, you can even use your hands if that feels nice to crawl up the front of the legs. As you arrive at the top, loop your shoulders, lace your hands behind you. You can have right thumb on top. Find your balance. A little bend of your knees to help anchor your tail down. Send your knuckles down, send your heart up in space. And then maybe you just switch the grip for a moment. Left thumb over right. Reset the shoulders, loop once again. You try to have your weight distributed evenly through your feet, front and back, both sides. Release the clasp of your hands. Press your arms up overhead as you inhale. Rise now up into the balls of your feet with your exhalation. If you find yourself falling back, that informs you that things along the front line could connect maybe a little bit more. Wrap your inner ankles, your inner thighs back in space. Keep the lift of the arms. And like you could imagine a slinky stretching longer in space. Keep that height through your ribs and lower your heels. Take a full breath in. And then release your arms either down through the midline or by your side. You can place your palms somewhere, maybe at the heart and at the belly. And give yourself 3 cycles of breath here. And while you are breathing, see if you can imagine the mind's eye just dilating, so expanding,